What is up, guys? It is absolutely great to be back with you all for this season. It's going to be a great season. Got a lot of planned for you. In the meantime, I got a little bit more research and some more reading that I want to do just to catch up on current events because I feel like through the summer I get put into a bubble and I get left behind in a lot of stuff. So I just want to make sure I'm up to date on a couple things. So therefore, I took some interviews back in the fall when I started to slow down so that I could use them for this sort of instance right now. I had the privilege of asking Jerry Wayne to come on. You may have remembered him with his altercation in regards to Joe Biden and firearms when they met up together. It circulated the internet for a long time, and I figured I'd have him come on the show. So, with that, we will head off to that interview, and in case you don't remember, I'll roll the clip from what he is kind of known for, and then we will continue on with our great conversation.
These union workers that have been working countless hours under the Trump administration, I'd like you to explain how you plan to not only keep us working, but how you intend on getting the union vote when there is a large portion of the union workers that are gun enthusiasts, and you are actively trying to diminish our Second Amendment right and take away our guns.
You're full of shit.
All right, thank you.
No, shush. Shush. I support the Second Amendment. Second Amendment, just like right now, if you yell fire, that's not free speech. And from the very beginning, I have a shotgun, I have a 20 gauge, a 12 gauge, my sons hunt. Guess what? You're not allowed to own any weapon. I'm not taking your gun away at all. You need 100 rounds.
So when you were in Beto, when you said you're going to take our guns,
I did not say that. That's not true. I did not say that.
It's a viral video.
It's a viral video like the other ones they're putting out that are simply a lie.
Your voice, you said that you're taking the gun.
Well, he just clarified it.
Wait. Take your AR-14s.
Okay, this is not okay.
Hold on.
All right.
Hey, let's
Don't tell me this, pal. I want to go outside.
There's a lot of guys.
Hey, you're
wanted.
man.
I'm not worried.
Hold on. So much.
Give me a break, man. Don't be
You're
such a horse
pushing up on me.
Hey, there's a lot of.
Hey.
Speak to Joe.
Look, here's the deal.
Go.
Here's the deal. Are you able to own a machine gun?
Machine
I said, are you able to own one? Under the law.
Machine guns are illegal.
That's right. So AR-15's illegal.
How is that a machine gun?
No, it's not.
Semi-automatic.
Yeah, do you need 100 rounds? Do you need 100 rounds?
Deaths in America from handguns than there are what you call assault rifles. Why are you advocating for assault rifles when people are dying by handguns?
No.
I'm your host, The Shoe, and this is The Schumann Show. I couldn't pass up this opportunity to welcome on the show Jerry Wayne. How's it going, man?
It's going great, man. I'm really enjoying myself and this effort that we're doing right now.
That's awesome. So basically, I kind of want to get a background of who you are, how you grew up, and everything like that, just to get kind of the man behind the face, essentially, to put it.
Yeah. Well, a big part of me is like what you see is what you get. Like this is me, But I'm just I'm a Michigander, born and raised, and about 30 minutes south outside of Detroit, and I grew up hunting, fishing, just loving wildlife. I've never been like a big gun activist or anything like that. I just I'm pro Constitution, that's pretty much who I am, and that's what I was taught growing up too, and I guess that's pretty much my backstory. I have a beautiful girlfriend named Gabrielle, and she really helped me a lot.
That's cool. So have you always been a conservative?
I wouldn't say that I'm conservative or I'm left or right or anything. I don't really like the whole label thing. That's kind of the avenue I'm trying to get into, is just that there's so many labels on everything. I think it's time to come back and just be an American, and then maybe we can start over,
Yeah, absolutely. What would you think is like the kind of the foundation at the beginning of all that?
The beginning of all which part?
Or how would you start that to get people together? Because like we were talking before the show, kind of people are so polarized and stuff. So how would you recommend getting people together to kind of drop their sides?
Okay, well, I think that a lot of people don't have sides chosen already. They're very much on that fence, going left or right or whichever. But the demographics have been pulled so far apart that you feel like you're being tugged in a certain direction. So say there's people like just right of center, just to give an example of an unbiased example. Say you're just right of center and someone from the left wants to bring them over, right?
Yeah.
and they just have to pull a little bit harder, But with my pull, what I'm trying to do is I'm not trying to tell people what to think. All I'm doing is trying to show them what's happening. I think a lot of civilians in the United States are just unaware of what's going on.
I think there's definitely like, I wouldn't say it's like a lack of education, but it's more so people have stopped caring. I don't know. My generation seems to be extremely lazy. We don't want to get out of bed. We don't want to get jobs. We don't want to work hard anymore. And I think a lot of that even kind of goes into the whole political sphere. Like people just, I saw it on TV, so I believe it, and there's no point in checking it because TV said it was right. And I think that's hurting because you see a lot more people once they get educated and stuff, or start seeing how things work, they kind of gravitate toward a more center approach, if not more a little bit right leaning. But yeah, any thoughts on that?
Well, but just to take you back a little bit, when you said, I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. When you said, I completely am losing my train of thought. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that question? I'm so sorry.
People's education system, like people have gotten lazy and they're unwilling to look stuff up for their own. They just see it on the TV and they just believe it for what it is.
Yeah. So just like what you said earlier with your my generation. What's your generation?
I'm a millennial.
Millennial. I'm a millennial too, right? Well, I tell you what. But see, I'm saying like this is what we're doing. We're listening to certain things on the internet or the TV or whatever, and we're being told what's actually going on in society. If you want to know what's going on in society, just open your eyes.
Right.
So what's happening here is you said, okay, millennials are known for being lazy. Are you lazy? Do you really think that you're lazy?
No,
you don't. That's just what people are telling you. You're not lazy.
Right.
I'm not lazy. I was working 6 days a week, 10 hours a day.
Yep.
There's just this whole thing of media or whatever it is just trying to say it, and that's what you are. You're not lazy. I'm not lazy. Like we got to stop saying these things, man. That's what's tearing us down. We got to keep talking each other up, man.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree with that. I think people tend to want to be negative. It seems like in kind of a general sphere, they feel like if they compliment themselves too much or compliment other people too much, either they're sucking up to someone or, well, you're just so full of pride. And that's not the case. I think having pride in yourself is a good thing in what you do and what you accomplish.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what this country was built on.
That's exactly right. And we can't forget it. We can't forget that the foundation of this country is on our backs, not the government's, not these political leaders, it's on our backs. We are responsible for what happens in this country.
And that's one of the things that I really wanted to get to you. We're going to jump ahead and then we'll back up a little bit. But in your conversation with Joe Biden, you said that he works for you. I love that so much. Just what did you mean by that?
Well, all right. So let's talk technicalities. Technically, he doesn't work for anybody right now. He's a singular politician. He's not, being paid, but he's going to be. That's what he's trying to accomplish now. And you got to think, like, who's paying him? He's being paid to be a representative of the people. Yep. And of the populace, I should say. Well, with the Electoral College, and you're supposed to move this country forward. I see no plan to move forward. First of all, like that's not it. It's all negatives and no. Talking about right now. What about next year? What are the next 4 years? I'm not seeing these come to light. So, yeah, I think there's a big difference on what's going on right now.
Absolutely, and like people who watch me know that I'm more of a conservative, libertarian sort of thing. Like I believe people deserve as much freedom as possible. And my biggest scrutiny of the government, or my biggest problem with them, and even like I'll probably vote for Trump, but even Trump, like when he gets up on a pedestal and people treat him like a king or a god or any government official like that, it's like you have forgotten what it meant to be a government official. They were meant to be servants, to serve us, the people. That's what their place was intended to be. They were
absolutely.
Like most of these guys didn't even get paid for, back in the early 1770s, or and stuff like that. And I think that's been lost. It's been forgotten. People now do it to try to, I mean, Bernie Sanders hasn't worked a day of his life, been in the government his entire life. He was so lazy, he was kicked out of a commune. I mean, that's what a government role has seemed to try to bend.
No, I see what you're saying. I mean, I can't speak on that matter, not because I can't, but because I'm really trying to steer the path on the Second Amendment. I can start going ahead and do it like name calling and stuff like that. But I'm not going to lead into that stuff. I think right now is that we're at war with someone who wants to take away our rights, and we need people to wake up on this subject.
So why is the Second Amendment important?
Tyrannical government.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's happening. They're trying to do it right in front of our own two eyes. This is actually happening. We need to wake up here. What
sort of evidence or what sort of things are you seeing that's leading the government, or do you see leading the government into tyrannical?
There's all types of things now. I mean, I'll tell you what, a lot's happened in the last 10 days. You know, they've got these states shutting down to make sales. They've got gun stores being shut down. They can't do it. They got taxes they're trying to do to put taxes on ammunition and guns. This is your government.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
This is scary times, and people need to. The thing is that a man can be scared, but it takes a patriot to be brave.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. And so, what do you think of this whole situation that's been going on with like the shutdowns and everything like that? Do you think they're legitimately concerned about this virus that's going on, or do you think they're trying to push their luck to see how far they can actually push the American people?
I really don't know. I wish I could say I do. I don't know. I don't know everything. That's a very, very good question. So sorry for that. Sorry. That's a very, very solid question. I'll definitely give that some thought, though.
Yeah, it just seems. I mean, I totally got the whole separating people apart and everything like that, but when they started closing gun stores and stuff like that, I was like, this seems a little weird. And then some people even started talking about like the National Guard coming into their state or coming into their cities or anything.
Which is bizarre because I don't know why the governors are calling for National Guard to come in. That's not their job.
Yeah.
Their job is to take care of their own state with what they have.
Right.
And I'm not going to get into all that stuff, but we need to start studying up, guys. We got to all get on this level. I'm not saying I'm on any particular level. I'm just saying that we need to come together and communicate with each other so we can all get better at this and move forward.
Right. The biggest thing is having conversations with people, and
yes,
like you said,
that's why this is so important. That's what I'm saying. That you doing this podcast is very, very important.
Right. It's. I mean, I think once we start exchanging ideas, we'll see where everybody. I don't think anybody wants to destroy anybody else. The whole point is to try to bring people. People are just so adamant about their ideas that they don't really care about anybody else's or willing to hear it. But the second that they start researching other people's ideas, then, I mean, you can kind of see if you put yourself in somebody else's shoes, right?
Right.
So it
helps.
helps.
But see, people don't have ideas. They have things inside their head that they heard someone else say. They're not coming up with their own ideas. I'm not saying everybody. But a vast majority of the population, they don't have their own ideas. They have these ideologies that they just commemorate. Yeah.
Yep. So let's talk about this viral video that went around everywhere for a long time. Walk me through your day. Like Joe Biden just showed up at your place of work, or what happened?
Yeah, it was crazy. I just went there like any old other day, man. At 7:00, we're sitting there. We have a safety meeting. And at the safety meeting, they're like, "Hey, Joe Biden's coming at 9:30," and we're just like, "What? Like here? Like why?" But yeah, so I went to work for a little bit, and I had a little bit of time to text. I kept texting drafts to my girlfriend. Just she's like, "What the heck are you texting me and stuff?" But I finally got a good. I don't want to. I didn't know it was going to be a questionnaire, So I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, if I have an opportunity, I at least would like to be ready, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to go up there and sound like a babbling idiot and talking to somebody's running for the president of the United States,
Yep.
So I he came in, he waved to a bunch of guys. He talked on a megaphone and say, yeah, you're guys that had the bailout and stuff, and you kept this country going and all that stuff, and I'm just like, all right, like, keep on going, So he ended up starting to shake people's hands and came up to me, and at that time, I had my question ready. I just kind of went with it, and the rest is history, man.
Okay. And so, why that question?
I felt as if it was one that needed to be asked.
Yeah. It's just something that was always been really important to you, I guess, growing up on all that good stuff, huh?
It's something that really has me startled, that the fact that we have a politician advocating to take our rights away.
Right. How do you think that they'll end up, trying to do that? Do you think it'll just be a full like gun buyback like what happened in Australia, or how do you think they would do that?
Okay. Forgive me for not knowing the scientists that did this, but it's something that I was taught back in high school.
Okay.
If you take a frog and set him in a beaker, and you pour boiling hot water on that frog will jump out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put a frog in lukewarm water and start to slowly bring that water to the boil, that frog will stay there and boil alive. That's how they're going to do it.
Right. And that's kind of what my thought has been on the whole Second Amendment issue and stuff like that is I think they'll progressively tax the crap out of it eventually. Like they'll just start raising taxes on firearms, start raising taxes on ammunition to the point where nobody can afford it anymore. But because I think if they were to try to do like a gun grab or some of the stuff that Beto O'Rourke was talking about.
Well, that's what everybody thinks is going to happen. They think it's going to be a really quick thing. Like, hey, we got to stand up now. No. It's going to be too late.
Yep. I think you're absolutely right. That's because I think if it happened too quick like that, we would all notice too fast. I mean, look at what happened in Virginia.
Absolutely.
I mean,
that was just a test. I'm not saying that that's what they did for sure, but that sure as hell looked me a test. And what would happen for the nation if you did that to the nation?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So where do you think is the line in the sand? When it starts happening and you say it starts happening slow, there's got to be a line. Like, when's the point in time where Americans need to start standing up, and why?
When you're able to make that difference. These other podcasters, when you guys are ready to pull people up, that's when it will be time. That's
super interesting, because normally, like, when I ask people, they're like, well, it's when the tax rate gets to be such and such far, or it's when they start implementing red flag laws. But I think you're absolutely right, because we're a nation of individuals. We have the responsibility as individuals to govern our own country.
That's right.
And for everybody, it's totally up to you to make that point.
Everybody thinks this stuff happens in other countries and it doesn't happen here. Well, I've got news for all of you out there. It's happening here.
Yep. I totally agree. Oh no, I lost my train of thought.
It's crazy when you get deep into it, isn't it?
I know, right? So when the Second Amendment,
like it's not real.
What was that?
It's almost like it's not real, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's like you said, like I didn't care about politics growing up for the most part. I mean, I just lived my life. As long as it didn't affect me, then I didn't care.
You and me both.
Once you get a paycheck and once you start investing in a lot of these things, it affects every part of your life. And
everybody that goes to take their investments in, they put them in mutual funds and they forget about it. They're actually not looking at what's happening.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. And so what do you think are some of the signs we need to be watching out for in regards to the Second Amendment?
The only thing that we need to worry about right now is our numbers. Stay safe and stay united. We need to, I tweeted about this today, and it's very important. You need to stay united and communicate with each other. We need to have a network of communication, and I don't mean a network of cell phones either.
Thank you. I totally agree, man. I'm
counting on you to get this out.
Right. And not only that, but so in my whole thing about where government has failed, I believe it's failed in the communities because people have your neighbors, the people that you should see every day on your way to work, that you should wave to every day to work. We're so focused on our phones and everything like that that we forget about the people living across the street. When this whole
When was the
virus,
last time you had a neighbor come over? Or you
right?
remember? I remember when I was growing up. It was like the early '90s. My mom always had a cake on the table in case we had company come over. You can cut a piece of cake, and you know what I'm saying? It ain't like that anymore. It's not like the social fabric is being torn apart, and we need to bring that together. And the Patriots are the ones that need to do this. The Patriots.
Why is that? Why the Patriots? Why?
Because it takes a patriot, a good watchman, to be a good patriot. Patriots are very excellent watchmen. They see what's going on, and they need to lead this. They need to lead this awareness. That's what a patriot does. A patriot leads, and it's not just me. It's all of you.
Right. And that so what is? Let's get into this a little more. So what would you how would you explain what is a patriot? What is that idealistic person?
Okay, I don't know the exact definition of a patriot.
Okay,
but my definition is someone that holds true what the Constitution means to them, and will go to any means to protect it.
Right. The other thing is, I think, not to add to your definition at all, but something that's been lost is what people say. They no longer, like, words used to have extreme importance. Like when somebody swore an oath, that was their word. They meant it. Yeah.
But you know who I take very seriously on their oaths?
Who's that?
Our military. They went in there at a young age, and they wanted to go in there giving a purpose. And I guarantee you, I trust in them more than anybody else.
Right. Now, okay, so it's theoretical. Let's just say that these governors bring in, when this shenanigan happens, if the government was to bring in like the National Guard or the military to enforce some of this stuff, do you think the National Guard or the military would actually go in on their own people?
It depends.
Okay.
We have to beat them to the punch. We need to have so many people aware that even they are.
Right.
Everybody, this is where it's won, guys. Awareness. We need to wake people up. And you can't do that by belittlement. You have to do it with love and compassion. Take them to the side and teach them something, because it's very important.
Absolutely. And just going back to the small communities that we grow up in and stuff like that, like, where I'm from, like towns are really, real small. They're small. We all depend on each other. When this whole outbreak started happening, I mean, all of us younger guys. What was that?
That's what you're right. That's what it takes. It's a community. Just what you're saying. I'm just agreeing with you. You're right on the head, man. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, when this whole outbreak started and people, like some of the grocery stores and everything were all about out. It's like, hey, well, I'm going to the next town over. What do you need?
Bingo.
I'm not gonna get sick. Like I'm a young dude and I'm pretty healthy. What can I do to help somebody who's elderly or who's unable to do that? That needs to be brought back. We need to rely on one another I should be able to rely on my neighbor. My neighbor should be able to rely on me. My church group, we should all be able to rely on each other. My people at work, we should all be close knit and willing to do things for each other when stuff gets hard. And I think it goes back to what you said about being a patriot. We need those community leaders to be able to step up within their communities to be like, this is the way things need to be done.
That's right.
And this is how you should act as a human being.
Yes. And it's going to take these two-way activists that are also patriots.
Yep.
You guys are the ones that got to step up in your community.
Yep.
And not just for the other two-way activists, the whole community. Pull everybody in. This is not over, guys. This is going to get worse.
Yeah. So how much worse do you see it getting, or what do you see as getting worse? What could be worse?
All I can say is that we need to act now.
Right. There's no time to lose. There's stuff like that. I think you talk to some people who, like, I'm pretty optimistic. It's bad. It gets me in trouble, but I'm a pretty happy guy.
We don't have time to be optimistic.
Right. Exactly. We need to be realistic about what's happening right now. Because I think if we let it devolve any more, we're going to lose the ability to take control of our communities. We're going to be able to lose the control to have a say in our state and then in our country. I mean, so we were talking about the Second Amendment a few weeks ago, and one of the things was that when what was his name? He wrote in one of the Federalist Papers that the Second Amendment, or that the militia was supposed to be like 2/3 larger than what the federal military was supposed to be. It was supposed to be that relied on.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
See, that's why this is important.
Right.
Now I've got something for the next interview. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, there you go.
That's why you guys are important. I'm telling you, man.
James Madison, I believe it was, in the Federalist number 46 in 1788, he said that he proposes to compare the federal and state governments that are dispositions and faculty they may respectively possess to resist and frustrate the measures of each other. It has been already proved that the members of the federal will be more dependent on members of the state, that the latter will become the former. He wanted people to be he wanted the federal government to depend so much on the individual states that they wouldn't even be able to function without our individual say.
Yes, you are right about that, and I can speak on that, but I don't think. Yeah, I'm not gonna speak on that. It's okay.
No, it's totally fine, man. What do you think happened? What dropped the ball? Why the switch?
The switch for what?
Or why now is it the government, instead of us individuals determining what our own rights are in regards to what we should be able to carry? Like in one of the court cases.
All right. That's why I don't want to speak on, because I do have a theory on why it switched. As to how accurate that theory is, I'm a little shaky on. So I don't want to go and share things that I'm not 100%.
Sure. No, it makes sense, man.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. No, so what do you think should be allowed for firearms?
All of them.
All of them?
No, just kidding. No, it's just no, we gotta have reason, you know, like I think where they're at right now, we're good. You know, we got to keep our ARs. That's what they're afraid of, guys. That's what, like, that's where the question boils down to. They want the ARs because you guys know why. I don't have to get into it. You know, we know that's what we're here for.
Yep.
Tyrannical governments, and they're good, they're reliable guns, man.
Yeah, I mean, a government that does not fear its people is extremely dangerous.
Yes.
I mean, it happened. You know, we see it back in
just
Germany.
Saw how much they fear their people with my interview with Joe Biden.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, yeah. If it was no big deal when you stood up to him, it wouldn't have made the publicity that it did.
Yes.
But it was a big deal because somebody was willing to say, no, this is enough.
The mask is off, man.
Yeah. I mean, what was the time frame you had to make those comments? Like,
what do you mean?
By the time that you got in front of him to the time that it would have passed before you couldn't have said anything? Probably like minutes?
Oh, I don't know. Like, how long was the little, like, questionnaire thing?
Yeah.
When I was I don't, God. 90 seconds, maybe? 60 seconds? I don't know. I could be way off. I have no idea.
You took those few seconds to be able to stand up and make a difference. And now you started a conversation. You started a wildfire on people that are actually starting to determine and talk about this thing.
Yeah, then that's what I'm trying to keep pushing, man. That's what we got to do. We have to wake up. And It's not just the Patriots have to wake up. We got to wake up everybody else.
Yep.
They're not paying attention, man. They're literally like we've seen memes forever, right? About people watching TV while people are taking money out of their pocket. And dude, that's real, man.
Yep. No, it's really scary how dependent we are on certain news outlets and stuff like that rather than being able to check stuff out yourself. And I think like the way that we're able to check things out as opposed to just believing what the TV says about everything, I think is a very, very scary place to be. And I think a lot of people just
Yes.
tune out.
Yes. Absolutely. I know exactly what you're saying. And yeah, it's crazy. You know.
So what would you say is like the first step into waking up? What would be the process that would go through in order for somebody to become enlightened on what is going on or what is happening in this world? What would be the first steps to be there?
You know, I started thinking about that too, and I was thinking about maybe even trying to do this myself with an individual, maybe even videotaping me doing it. I'm about a lot better on the fly than I am giving like a template, I should say. Yeah, you know. But the thing is, like, you got to go up to somebody, and I'm thinking of people that you can start with people that aren't on a certain side of whichever. You know, I mean, just find someone that doesn't care.
Right.
Not left, not right. Just someone in the middle. You know, like, oh, I don't follow politics. That right there is what's killing us.
Yep.
Go after that person. Okay. There's enough people on the left. There's enough people on the right. Get the people that are right in the middle and start talking to them. Say, look, this is important. You need to get in this. I don't care if you're left or right or whatever. Just get involved, because when people get involved and you teach them the Constitution while they're getting involved, you know, like, tell them what we fought for before. That's not taught like it's taught in our schools, but it's not jammed down people's throats. You know, like the War of 1812. You know, like we had a revolution. These are things in history, and they say history repeats itself. Man, we got to teach people this stuff. This stuff is important.
Yep. Absolutely. So, do you have a favorite person in history on the founding of this nation or anything like that? That's someone you look up to?
Yes. Yes.
Who would that be, if you don't mind me asking?
Okay. Now I want to keep my people's personal beliefs and stuff out of this. It's because times were different back then, and then, you know, there was slavery and stuff, and I don't wish slavery about anybody. It's just one action that a man did that I like a lot, and that was George Washington. George Washington was asked to be king of America. He said no. That says something.
Right.
So that guy had the keys to the world and said, no, it belongs to the man. So,
yep.
Take it how you will.
And I think I love that guy too so much. I mean, he had the ability to create what he just worked so hard to destroy. And then they were just going to give it to him. And like you said, he said no. I mean, I could go forever. That guy.
Listen, that needs to happen again.
Yeah. But we need to stop so much living for ourselves and start living for our neighbor, or, you know, and not to the extent of like becoming your neighbor's servant or anything like that. But if your neighbor's in trouble, be willing to step out there and help them with something, or something in your community is happening. Be able to be that man to stand up and take charge of what's actually going on. And it'll flow out from there. I mean, it'll go from that community will then start taking care of other communities. That'll affect your entire state. I mean, my state's still really, really old school, I guess. Like, you get stranded alongside the road. The first car that drives past you, it might take like 15, 20 minutes because we're so spread out, but they will pull over and they will pull you out of the ditch or help you out, change a tire, anything that you need. That's just the mentality of the people around here. And I think in a lot of states, that's really, really been lost.
It is. You're right. Absolutely. I mean, I work in Detroit all the time, you know, and by the way, in Detroit, some of the people are the coolest people, man. Detroit does have a bad rap on some of the outskirts, but cool dudes, man. What was I getting at? I just like, I live south of Detroit, you know, but still, like, no matter where you go on the freeways and stuff, nobody wants to help because, you know, like, you're right, because people don't. People may fear to get hurt themselves from helping somebody else. You know,
that's true too. Yeah.
Like I mean, it's scary. It's trust. You know, we got to bring trust back in society, and it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic. It doesn't matter, man. We're all Americans.
Yep. What would it take to bring trust back? Because it seems like that's what's been lost. Like,
talk to each other.
Right?
I'm serious. Talk to each other, and tell them something about yourself. You don't have to go into deep, dark secrets. Tell someone about yourself, man. We're all human. We all make mistakes. You know, just talk to somebody.
I like that. I like we're all just people, right?
Yeah.
Like,
we got a lot more in common with each other than people think, man. And not only that, listen to comedians. You want to know who tells the truth? It's comedians, man. And you got people of black, white, Asian, Hispanic, everybody is in there, and they're all laughing. I mean, you have different demographics for different comedians, I'm sure.
right,
But
yeah.
everyone loves a far-fetched good joke,
Yep.
you know? Well, I say a lot of people do. I can't say everybody does.
Right. I think we've become so afraid to laugh at anything or find anything humorous because for as much as we don't investigate into the news articles and stuff like that, as much as we take ourselves that seriously, I don't think we've done the work to take ourselves that seriously, to be that educated. I think it is important to laugh. And like you said, yeah, comedians, they tell the truth because, well, like they say what they mean, but in a funny sort of way where it's easier
the thing is, like,
to chew.
they say the truths that most people are usually offended by.
Right.
You know? And then what they say them, and then because they're actually, a lot of them are maybe not true, but like they're pretty darn close to being true. Like stereotypes, you know, like sometimes stereotypes are exactly like Dave Chappelle talks about that. Daniel Tosh talks about that. Stereotypes are funny, and they joke about it, and it's funny.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's so frustrating that people can't even laugh at themselves when you like. And I know maybe you don't want to get into this a whole lot, but like when Obama was in office, nobody made an Obama joke for the most part. SNL was pretty quiet. But now that Trump is in office, SNL lights him up pretty much every day. And it's like, that's totally fine. But we need to be able to laugh at our own side of the aisle every once in a while, too. Like I said, I support Trump, but he does a lot of stuff that I find hilarious that he probably wouldn't like me laughing at. We can't take life so seriously. You know, it's really detrimental. It puts everybody in a much darker light than what they're meant to be.
You're right, and that's a funny way that how you say that too. A much darker light, like, cause you gotta let the light in. I think we've had that story in our heads for eons. Light's got to come through. Martin Luther King talked about that. You cannot get rid of darkness with darkness. You have to get rid of darkness with light. That's
absolutely. Yep. One of my favorite authors for a time, who wrote nonfiction, I think. I don't know. I went to public school. I don't know the difference between the two. Stories aren't true. But Frank Peretti wrote a book called House, and it was mainly a fight between dark and light. And one of the quotes in that book, he mentioned there was darkness in the room, and the light came in, and the darkness did not understand it. And I love that so much because you bringing in this knowledge, people are researching now on what the Second Amendment is, what it correlates to. Me with my podcast, trying to get people to think a little bit. It's shattering that darkness because your unintelligence or your ability to not know things is completely destroyed as soon as that light or that trigger for knowledge gets sparked with inside you.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, how that works, how your mind's wired like that,
Oh, no, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. And what happens is, like, when this is happening, it's also, no, I'm not going to get into biology and stuff. It's fine.
No, but I mean, from your personal experience, like, now that you kind of got into this or got a taste of it, don't you want to go out and like read every book ever and all this kind of stuff, or maybe not so much?
Yeah, it's been hectic so far, with all the interviews and stuff. I'm really just trying to get my life back for the moment. Like just this past day or two, I've been able to actually calm down for a moment. I've been very high strung, because I feel as if this stuff is important. I really, really do. And also, I'm gonna get real with you for a second, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I just I'm in this new level now, where people are actually like wanting to hear what I have to say, and that's new to me.
Yeah.
I think that if I were to say the stuff I'm saying now, people will look at me and they're like, you're crazy or something, like,
Yeah.
They don't want to hear. They don't want to talk about politics. They don't, because we've been taught to not do that. And I'm on this level now, and I'm trying to get used to it. It's weird,
It is.
So I mean, I'm doing my best. I'm trying to be there for people and stuff, but I'm also, you got to think, I'm just an average guy. I got a life to live too. I have a balance that I need to do with this, and I'm doing my best. I am, because this isn't. I'd be lying if I said like, I don't know. It's a big role to play. It's a lot of responsibility, and I don't want to let anybody down.
That's the thing. Like, that's why, like, I appreciate when you say, like, when I asked you a question and you stated, hey, I don't want to get into that because, A, I'm not knowledgeable on that, or I have a theory, but I don't know if it's true. That's okay. People need to understand that that's okay. You don't want to get into something, or you don't feel like you know enough about it to really express that thought because you want to.
That's why I got you guys for.
That's important.
About me, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
If I need to know something, one of you guys will. It takes a team.
Yep. Absolutely right. I mean, yeah, I don't know about this stuff overnight or anything like that. And for what I do know, I learn from other people who have done research, and those people learn from other people that have done research.
Right.
It's a giant tree, and that's where we get back to
you know what that is? That's the building blocks of America right there.
Yeah.
That's America's what we're built on. We need to bring this brick and mortar inside of ourselves together and do this, man.
Absolutely. No, and it's like you said, it starts with conversation. It starts with this kind of stuff. So I have to ask, are you planning on starting something, man? Are you planning on starting like a podcast or a radio thing?
I'm trying to. I'm not really good with cameras or stuff like that, and I don't really know what I'm gonna say. I don't like. I was thinking about maybe doing like an Instagram live thing, which I've never done before, so it might be a disaster because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But I think some people have questions and things to say, and I want to hear what everybody has to say because, like, again, this isn't about me. This is about everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that was the coolest thing. Like, I was kind of in your same boat a little bit. I mean, not to your extreme. I mean, that's nothing like that. But the more I started talking about this and starting stuff up and everything like that, I had other people that were coming to me and being like, hey, what do you think about this? Or what did you think about that? It does change the spirit. And I mean, I was trying to look at.
There's a couple things. Actually, I'm not going to say this on air, but I use all these podcast guys. I had talked to you after the show because I want your opinion on something, but I just don't want to bring it up now because I'm not knowledgeable about it.
Sure. And that's like even your Twitter account, how many people you have on there. Like, I'm sure that exploded overnight.
Yeah, it went pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, I hate Twitter, but at the same point in time, it's
I never really knew how to use it. I had Twitter before, and all I did was follow politics, like all the politicians.
Yeah.
I never made a single post or anything, and I think I got a different Twitter now. Or no, you can change your name. I think Gabrielle changed my name for me to Jerry Wayne AR14. Okay, so then I just got so many followers all of a sudden. Like, I got to learn how to post. I didn't even know how to make a post. See, I'm not tech savvy, guys.
We're right there, man. I feel you. I totally get it. It's
all new.
But now you have that platform. That is a platform that you could use to have those conversations. I've met such incredible people that I've read growing up and stuff like that. I've actually, gotten to have conversations with them. And not only that, but all these new people that I've been meeting and having, I don't agree with all of them, but it's gotten me a chance to take myself out of my small rural town and put myself into a big city point of view to see how somebody may see it from their point of view. And it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced. It really is.
Right. And you know how people, like, a lot of people haven't been out of the country. They don't know what it's like everywhere else. They're just so used to it. Now, mind you, I went to Canada a couple times. I went to like Mexico once, so I haven't really left the country either. So I can't really speak on that. I've been wanting to really badly, but imagine what the culture shock must be like. They speak an entirely different language. They do different things, and it's not like America. It's wrong. So it's like there's so many different cultures and diversities that are. It's pretty cool, man. We can't just all think that we're right about everything.
No, and you're absolutely right. So I married a Canadian, so. But then we actually got married in Thailand, and going to Thailand, we spent 3 weeks there. And 2 of those weeks we spent with like the people and everything down there. And it was like you said, it's a culture shock. We don't know how good we have it. And that's like why, exactly what you said is we need to act now and get together, because otherwise we're going to end up like Thailand was beautiful, but they don't have the freedoms that we have here. They don't have the freedom to say whatever they want about their politics. They don't have the freedom to carry
All
around.
eyes are on us right now.
Yeah.
All eyes are on us. The whole world. I'm telling you.
Absolutely. So, wrapping up here, basically, what is your statement? What is your mission? What is your final closing statement that if you could get a message out to everyone, what would that be?
Okay, there's been a couple things. One is stand up for what you believe in and don't apologize for it. Also, you, the individual, has to do something. Grab one, just one each, and talk to them and actually teach them something. Don't if they struggle and they don't want to hear it and they want to argue with you, let them go. Go get someone that at least wants to listen and teach them this stuff and tell them to grab somebody else. Like don't force anybody. Just open their eyes a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, you heard it here. Quit sitting around. Get out there, grab somebody, educate them, help them to learn. You know more than you think you do. Don't be so hard on yourself. I'm sure you know a lot more than other people think. Be able to teach other people those things. And if they don't agree with you 100% of the time, accept that. It's fine. But stand for what you believe in and at least show that you know what you stand for. Jerry, it has been an extreme pleasure having you on the show. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you. I thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to do it again sometime, man.
Up on this.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we'll have to do this again sometime. You'll have to come on when things kind of calm down and we can talk about just other random stuff.
And
so
if you have any other buddies or something that want to do it, send them my way, man. We got to keep this going.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Definitely. I will post your Twitter below so that people can look you up, give you a follow. Check it out, his Twitter, all that good stuff. I'm sure you're more than willing to have a conversation if someone were to message you, comment, or anything like that. So
my apologies ahead of time, guys. I have so many comments all the time. Guys, I appreciate the support so much, and I love each and every one of you, but I cannot possibly comment to every last one. I'm so sorry.
So he will get to every one of you. No, I'm just kidding.
In about 80 years, sure.
Well, thanks, Jerry. You take care, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. You too.
Like I said, guys, it has been an absolute pleasure to be getting back in here. I'm just trying to catch up on the news, so I'm going to be pumping out a few interviews that I did in the past just so I can catch up on the news now that I have a little bit of spare time to do some reading and stuff. I appreciate your patience with me, and I appreciate you guys holding on throughout the summer, waiting on me to pump out some content and stuff for you all. I can't wait for this year. I got a couple of ideas in mind, maybe a skit or two that I have planned. I want to dig into the free grace in a more structured sort of way. We'll start at the beginning and move forward, which will eventually maybe become something else in the future. I also want to dig into the mentality of how America got to be this far. To the point where we're burning down our own cities and pretty much putting rapists and criminals up on such a high pedestal of being worshipped now here in America. I also want to get into a little bit of what slavery is and the history of it and how we've been able to grow as a country from that, and how even in prior times before the United States of America, slavery has always been around, and it's not just singled out to America itself. Can't wait to jump into it all with you all. Thank you all for joining. This has been the Schumann Show.